What's up, everyone? Sebastian here, and with me is
Gavin.
So Gavin's going to be joining me on this journey of uncovering what our impressions of E3 was. We're going to make this like a continuous thing. We're going to bleed our nerdiness together in the creation of a channel and a podcast. So stay tuned for news about that coming soon.
Woo!
Essentially, we have all the news. We just don't have a name, so that will come later. So Gavin, overall impressions, E3, what'd you think?
I thought this E3 was good. There was quite a few games that made me, quite interested, quite optimistic. However, I went into E3 with fewer big name games that I was looking forward to, so I couldn't get quite as hyped. However, the general sense of everyone coming together and showing the game, showing what they've worked on, I mean, it never really disappoints.
I can agree with that. The one thing that I found this E3 had going for it that other ones didn't is I had very little that I was going in there like, I can't wait to see like this. So that when everything kind of got showed, I was like, oh, like pleasantly surprised by everything, but not really blown away by anything. Actually, that's not true. We'll get to that after.
I can agree with that in terms of being, pleasantly surprised by a lot, but there was very few games that I found left me with a lasting impression, left me with me walking away and be like, oh my god, I need to talk to my friends about this. I need to show them that trailer. There were a few, but I don't think as many as in years past, for me at least.
Okay, so ultimately we'll start now with biggest game of E3. What takes the cake?
Sea of Thieves would be one of them. I don't know why. First off, the actual cinematic trailer with the eerie music, kind of reminiscent of the first Dishonored trailer. I don't know why, but that type of music coupled with a cinematic trailer really gets to me. But then that 3-minute gameplay trailer, honestly, I had a huge smile on my face. I've been missing games that were genuinely just fun instead of, trying to be grandiose or anything like that. This game's just fun. So I left. I showed several of my friends the trailer. I was like, oh my god, guys, you need to see this.
He gushed a fuckload.
I was a happy boy. So that would probably be one of them. The other one is Titanfall 2. I had a blast with the first Titanfall. Unfortunately, I came on kind of late in its life cycle, so I kind of got the tail end of its busy day, its heyday, I suppose. But I had a blast, and I cannot wait to see what comes out with Titanfall 2. How about you, Seb?
Well, it's Zelda. Zelda absolutely fucking knocked my socks off. I'm a huge Zelda fanboy, and each iteration has been more of the same. And so when Nintendo said that, okay, this E3 or Nintendo Treehouse, we're only going to really be talking about one game, that's going to be Zelda, and we're talking about the whole day. I thought, there's literally no fucking way you can talk about Zelda for an entire day. There's nothing, unless you show me the whole game, there's nothing you can do in an entire day's worth of conference that will justify this decision. And they punched me right in the face. I was so wrong. Everything that they added, it was fundamentally Zelda with just like the voiceovers, the upgradability, the making of like potions and crafting food and items and things can wear and tear. If you go to a cold environment, you need to wear like a sweater, otherwise you'll freeze. But you can make like elixirs that will counteract these things and buff your character. So it's just Zelda that just like had sex with Dark Souls and had sex with Skyrim and had sex with like The Last of Us' like crafting system, and then just birthed this new fucking thing that I'm just absolutely ecstatic about. So Zelda by like a gargantuan amount.
No, I mean, even I'm excited about Zelda, and I have actually very little very little in the way of experience with the franchise. I've played maybe 2 hours of Ocarina of Time. However, myself and the 3DS, we don't really mix.
Story for another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Gavin does not like the 3DS.
I don't dislike it. I can't honestly put my finger on why I struggle to stay hooked on any game. I mean, God, I haven't even finished a Pokemon game on it.
Oh no.
And I put 300 hours into Pokemon Platinum. But again, story for another time.
All right. So biggest disappointment of E3 then.
My biggest disappointment of E3 would be the Star Wars coverage. I am an avid Star Wars nerd. Absolutely eat up anything Star Wars other than the Old Republic, but that's only because I would cease to exist.
Engulf your life.
If I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, I put 50 hours into Battlefront in the first month and a half. It was...
You platinumed it.
I did platinum it. I did. So that that was hectic. That was a lot. But there was nothing really tangible that I took away from the Star Wars part. I don't care about Galaxy of Heroes.
No, nobody cares about it. The guys who made Galaxy of Heroes don't care about Galaxy of Heroes.
I would love to care about what they talked about with the Old Republic, but again, I just spoke about why I can't get into that. And their Battlefront stuff, that didn't blow me away, the things they talked about with Battlefront.
It wasn't like it was too much of a grand overview.
Yeah.
They touched on 5 games for 30 seconds instead of one game for several minutes. The Battlefront stuff was just hey, here's Lando and Bespin, which we already know. We already knew was coming. And then it kind of showed almost nothing about Amy Hennig's Star Wars game.
Yep.
And then some motion capture for the other Star Wars game, which again,
yeah,
almost it could have been anything.
And they said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're going to be excited when we tell you what we have coming." Well, we're not going to tell you.
Yeah. It's fucking E3. Just tell me you're done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my mind would have been blown if there was a Knights of the Old Republic 3 coming out. That would have been easily my biggest game of...
You would have had a stroke.
Of life. I would cease to function for the day with my mind just trying to process the awesomeness. But I mean, they didn't even give me anything, nothing really that I could take away and talk with people and be like, yo, this next Star Wars installment or iteration is going to be awesome. So that was my disappointment. What about you, Seb?
My biggest disappointment of E3 is the cat fucking being naughty. Sorry, everybody. My biggest disappointment was one. When I heard that there was going to be that huge playable 90-minute demo for Zelda, they have a tendency for other Nintendo games, they pack with Best Buy, and you can go to Best Buy and play the demo. So I was really sure that they were going to do something like that, or an e-store where you could just jump on to the Nintendo e-store after their conference and download the demo, which didn't happen, which I would have just lost my mind for. But the other one, and then it harkens back to your first point, a biggest game, I'm so disappointed that Sea of Thieves is not on PS4. I'm so disappointed. It looks like the most fun game of E3. If you were to look at Ubisoft's press conference and they kept trying to show you this multiplayer centric games where it's you can do all this stuff with your friends, and it just seems so forced, and it seems like they set out and they went, let's make a multiplayer game and just build around that. This seems like a really good game that just naturally thrives on multiplayer, and it just works because it works with your friends. It doesn't need mechanics to make it work. It just the setting of the game itself lends itself well to just fun with your friends.
No, absolutely. You get four buddies together, and you're piloting a ship. You're going out, or you're just sitting in a cantina getting drunk. That blew my mind. I thought that was hilarious.
I love it when they leave the guy on the island. He's like, let me go! Yeah. He's freaking out.
Yeah. Or they're just we're done. We're sinking. Bail, I guess. But it's over. No, that was. I had a smile on my face that whole time.
Yeah. And that's same with Gavin. It's the one I've kind of continuously shown people or talked about. Now, your biggest surprise of E3. What blew your socks off?
Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare. I come in and out of the Call of Duty franchise, more out than in. Not in
interesting choice of words.
not in terms of my enjoyment of them, but it's just not a game that I'm you know what, this is the game this year that I'm gonna buy. I generally have a more heavy story-based game that I want. Or a sports game, honestly. I like my Madden. But this game, the entire trailer, especially the in-space, zero gravity combat mechanics, I was blown away. I thought it was amazing. I was spoiled because I was actually told it was going to be a COD game before I watched the trailer because I didn't see this live.
I did that. I spoiled that.
So maybe I went in a little biased and maybe not expecting the most innovative gameplay, but my God, I was blown away. That's my biggest surprise.
I honestly didn't even think of that one. So what I had watched this. I was in class, and It was supposed to end early, but I brought my laptop just in case so I could stream it, and it didn't. So I didn't really get any context to the trailer. I just remember popping the headphones in and listening when the class had ended, and that was when kind of the COD was shown. And I remember watching this game, I'm like, holy fuck, like everything about this game looks unreal. Like, what game is this? Like, who's making this game? Like, the grappling hook, and they could grapple the guy and rip his mask off and throw it. And I was like, holy shit. And then you jump back into the spaceship and you fly away, and it's like Call of Duty. And I was like, I just got duped by Call of Duty. Like, because if I had known prior to, I would have been like, fucking COD, I don't care. I wouldn't even have watched the trailer otherwise. But when I found out that it was COD, I was like, what have I done? I just, like, fanboyed really hard to COD, and that's not something I typically do.
I will be right back. Sorry, we have a cat in the apartment that gets up to no good, and sometimes you need to step in.
He's mischievous.
Yeah.
But okay, my biggest surprise: The Last Guardian actually got a release date.
Yeah, that's true.
And
as
it's
well.
like a soon release date, October something or other. I can't remember the exact date, but I fully expected to come into E3, get a glimpse of The Last Guardian, and have them be like. Q1 2017 or like I did not expect a solid date, and I especially did not expect a solid date so soon, and that kind of bleeds into my second biggest surprise of how many of these games are coming out like really like October, November, September. I E3 this past couple of years has left a bitter taste in my mouth in regard to announcing games that are like 3 years or like they have really ridiculous release dates that there's no fucking way they're gonna meet.
Yeah.
And I know that they're not gonna meet it, so it's like just don't even show me, because then I'm getting hyped. Like Horizon Zero Dawn got announced last E3.
Yeah.
It's now 2017, and so it's like you could have just what Bethesda did with Fallout 4. They announced it and like 3 months later it came out. Like I'm a big fan of things like that. So when all the announcements were like October, November, September, I was like, that was probably my biggest surprise that they kind of ditched the like 2018 kind of model of releasing things.
I think they're learning that, you know, if you announce it too soon, the hype gets really high and then drops, right? And then you have to do all that work to get everyone interested again anyway. So why not just wait and have that hype kind of go all the way up to release date. The only issue I had with all of these October release dates is I don't know how I'm gonna have time to play everything.
Yeah.
And B, my wallet is going to cry. My wallet is gonna be a sad boy.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, absolutely ecstatic that everything is coming as soon as it is.
Yeah, that's gonna be a conundrum for me because Final Fantasy 15 comes out September 30th,
Yeah.
and like Mafia 3 comes out like the first week of October.
Yeah.
And then The Last Guardian comes out like the second weekend of October, and I'm like, I'm not going to be done with Final Fantasy to be able to play. Although I will like section off time for The Last Guardian because I've been waiting for that much longer than I've been anticipating Final Fantasy 15, even though it's really like a long time coming. All right, now what are your impressions? So you watched the Microsoft press conference live for the most part.
Yes.
I kind of got most of it from hearsay from you, and then you showing me the trailers. So I'm not as well versed in this particular conference, so I'll let you start.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, our internet was acting up at the start. We have been known to have internet issues in this apartment, but so I missed the first part of it. I missed them talking about the Xbox One Slim or the Xbox One S, and maybe a few of the first games. I came in, I want to say, when they were talking about We Happy Few, which is actually another one of my pleasant surprises that I somehow remained ignorant of until that moment. I really love the dystopian feel of the game. I love the look, the aesthetic of the game. So very
Bioshock.
Yes, and right off the bat, that drew me into the Microsoft conference in a way that I don't think I would have been achieved had I jumped in with the Xbox One S, because I don't envision myself buying that in the near future. Whereas We Happy Few is going to be a day one purchase. I think it comes out late July now, and I'm very, very interested in that game. So I was hooked right off the bat. They had the Sea of Thieves trailer, which again I was texting Seb the entire time, just dude, this game is amazing.
Live
Couldn't
feed.
stop. Then I believe after that was the Halo Wars trailer. I'm probably getting my actual progression of trailers mixed up, but I'm just going to give you my general impression of each. The Halo Wars trailer, the cinematic trailer blew my mind. I was like, I don't care what type of Halo game this is. I am interested. When they announced it was with Creative Assembly, who is known for their Total War games, which I absolutely adore, I was even more interested. But the gameplay left me feeling a little lackluster. It was a very, very brief show of the gameplay, though, so I'm going to reserve any additional judgment to when I've seen more of it. And then I believe it's Scalebound. That's the title. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that trailer.
That trailer's a mixed bag.
Yeah. That just, for me, I really like the dynamic approach to combat where you have that dragon buddy or party member, so to speak. But there was just something off about that trailer. One thing is the guy didn't take a whole lot of damage. It didn't really feel like he was
hit
ever
maybe once in that entire.
It didn't feel like he was ever in actual peril. Everything that the boss threw at him, they were pretty easy to avoid, I guess. So
style over substance.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Ding
Yeah,
in my
that's
head.
a good way to put it.
It was very it looked very treacherous and looked very grandiose, like as you said, but it felt very small. Like it seemed very simple. The sequences seemed scripted.
Yep.
He never really got injured, so I never had the feeling of like, holy shit, like this thing may actually like cause some damage, because he always just kind of like. Like all the moves that the big fucking scorpion thing did were really telegraphed, really easy to avoid, and like the thing I compared it to immediately, like Gavin kind of like noticed after I had mentioned it, is like it's a big thing you're fighting with a bow and arrow to aggravate it, and then you jump on it and slash it, which is fundamentally Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is a PS2 game, which is infinitely more grand in scale, like. Has actual instances of like verticality. You feel really small in comparison, and you feel like I gotta actually take this fucking thing down, and it's a challenge. Whereas this, although I'm not playing it, so obviously I'm not gonna embody those emotions. I did not get none of that was conveyed to me as an outsider.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely agree with that, especially with Shadow of the Colossus. Every single time that the Colossus would make an attack towards you or an aggressive movement towards you, you were like, oh shit, like that sword is gonna kill me. Like I'm done if that touches. There was none of that, even just watching it.
I think about that's like in Shadow of the Colossus, like the moves are really still like, when you're like, if that fucking thing comes down on me, I'm done.
Like the one that I think of in Shadow of the Colossus is when you go, I think it's like the third Colossus, you have to walk up and he's got a giant sword on like this platform way above the lake, and you're like, if that touches me,
I'm off the platform.
Everything's over. Dead, Everything's over. And I didn't get any of that with Scalebound. I feel bad that we've just been ripping on this game for the last few minutes because we haven't actually got our hands on it. But those are my initial thoughts and feelings towards that game. Lastly, Scorpio. I got chills watching the release trailer with all the different people talking. Like, we've really listened to people, listened to developers. This console is going to be the shit, basically. It's going to be amazing. But I don't get why they announced it as early as they did. I now have no incentive to get an Xbox One or an Xbox One S, knowing that this is coming out in the not too distant future. So yes, they've got me hyped towards that console, but I feel like it's cannibalizing.
They shot themselves in both feet
exactly.
in their Xbox One, and then their Xbox One Slim.
I don't see, like, maybe if the Xbox One Slim wasn't coming out, this wouldn't be as big a deal, but they're like, hey, we're announcing something you can buy, but we're going to have something way better in a bit, so why buy this at all? Just ignore it. We fucked up.
It's definitely like a big... I feel like that was a huge push because of all the attention the PlayStation Neo was getting, which made Sony that much more wise in their decision to just completely not discuss or not show it, because it does completely detract from the idea of like, okay, well, I'll just buy that.
Yeah.
Whenever that comes out, I'll buy that. And I think they announced the price, like it'll be more than $350 or something for the PlayStation Neo. Did they announce the price for Scorpio?
I don't remember them announcing a price for Scorpio.
I don't think I've read anything about that.
They did. I mean, I know they didn't announce it in the conference, but I'm not sure if they've had some sort of press release afterwards being like, you know what, this is going to cost this much. But general sentiment from what I've been reading online is people are expecting like a $500 price tag at minimum. But you know what? I don't actually know anything, so that's all hearsay.
Mm-hmm. So overall, general consensus, Microsoft conference out of 10. What'd you give it?
Thanks to We Happy Few and Sea of Thieves, I'd give it an 8.5.
Wow.
Probably. I very, very rarely do I watch one of these conferences with my phone in hand, just messaging everyone. And while it's not really entirely Microsoft's doing, I suppose, that blew me away as much as it did, that for me saved their conference in a big way.
Well, it's like Sea of Thieves is made by Rare, which is their like biggest game that's not a Kinect game in a long time. Like Rare is a huge studio that's made some of the biggest fucking game franchises and has just pittered away into blackness. And so like the fact that it looks as good as it is and it's a Rare game has me like more optimistic than most as to like how good it'll actually be. I didn't watch the Microsoft conference, so I'm not gonna give it a score because anything I give it will be ill-informed. So we'll move on to the Sony conference now. Sony conference. I did watch this one live and Gavin didn't. So here's kind of how we can trade off. I'll do most of the discussion of this one. The Sony press conference, they made a very bold statement and like bucked a lot of tradition. So typically in these conferences, it's always like someone comes out, introduces it. There's a trailer. Someone comes out and talks. There's a gameplay. Next person comes out and talks. There's a trailer, and like they're really padded, like 2 hours long. Most of it's just random developers talking about the games with really shitty jokes and like uncomfortable silences. So when they came out, big orchestra. The gentleman came out, talked, and then it was God of War gameplay. And then right after it was Days Gone. And then right after it was The Last Guardian. And right, like there was no stopping. It was trailer, gameplay, trailer, which is, it shows an exuberant amount of confidence on Sony's part in their software lineup. Like I don't need to explain to you that this is going to be God of War. You just fucking watch it and you're gonna freak. I don't need to explain to you what we're going for. When it comes to Days Gone, you look at it and you know, okay, it's apocalyptic, it's story-driven, highly cinematic. Like all these games very much so speak for themselves, and it shows a huge amount of confidence to just kind of like, here you go. I think it was pretty much consistent with very few interruptions. The only one that kind of like halted the games was the VR, and they kind of came out, just like dropped a price, dropped a solid date, said there's going to be 50 games by the end of the year that are VR compatible, and then it just went VR game, which I'm okay with. And that Resident Evil trailer, holy shit. I was watching it full screen on my laptop, and I'm like, I could like, if I like imagine that on your face, there's not a chance in hell I would not be able to, which is smart of them to have it, you can do it VR or not VR. Fucking no way would I ever do that with virtual reality.
Absolutely, I would do that with VR.
I would love to. I would not be able to do it.
You'd have to wake up and do it in the morning where you can take it off and be like, all right, it's sunny out.
Yeah.
You know, it's we're safe. It's okay. That would not be a 1 a.m. game for me. However, I'd certainly want to play it, and I would definitely want to play it in VR.
It looked terrifying. And then the Hideo Kojima came out to like that's a huge point, and just to be like, I've partnered with Sony. Here's the game, and then having the dude from Walking Dead in it, which is like a huge slap in the face to Konami because he was going to be in their PT game that eventually got canceled due to whatever happened. That game really, it didn't show a lot, but it really interested me for what it was. It just like what's going on? There's like dead crabs and whales. There's like
Ink.
A lot of ink. Like a cord with a baby guy's butt. Like it seemed very Matrixy to me. Like Neo future. Like I think it was the cord. Like when they look from the Matrix, they have all the cords attached to everything.
Yeah.
I think that was like the fundamental thing where I was like, the Matrix. Very little was shown, but still piqued my interest to a great deal. And just like I can't speak any more praises for that conference. It was just really, really good. Game after game after game. The gameplay for Days Gone or whatever, Days Gone at the very end. It seemed very anticlimactic because it was such a big event, and they had already shown the trailer, so that when they ended the show just by showing a gameplay of a game they had already shown, I was kind of like, oh, that's it. Oh, the Crash Bandicoot thing's a huge deal, and the Spider-Man thing was a huge deal that I kind of glazed over. But that's a testament to how great that this conference was, that there's a huge announcements like that I can just completely slide past.
And Seb sliding past the Spider-Man.
That's a big
Spider-Man
fucking deal.
release is a big deal.
That's a big deal. So Sunset Overdrive, the developer of that game, and Ratchet & Clank, so Insomniac, is making this new Spider-Man. I didn't play Sunset Overdrive. I've heard mostly good things about it. I know you weren't a huge fan.
I only played a brief demo or trial of it, and I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, it was fun, but it didn't entice me to go out and buy it. So from that standpoint, it kind of failed what it intended to do, I suppose.
And then, so back to the Days Gone gameplay. It was... I felt like it didn't have an identity, because it was just like if Uncharted 4 was like if The Last of Us and Uncharted fucking had a kid, and the kid was more like The Last of Us parent. This game looks like The Last of Us and Uncharted had sex, had a kid, and it was more the Uncharted parent. Like the way the camera follows the character, very Uncharted. Like the distinct gait, the way he walks, very Uncharted. Like the gunplay, distinctly Uncharted. But then it had like the dystopian, post-apocalyptic themes from The Last of Us. The one thing, it was unbelievable how many zombies they had on screen at the same time. Although it was the coolest thing about the trailer, and the thing that pulled me out of it the most is because he's running, he's fucking like light jogging. He should be sprinting. He's gonna die. And he turns around. He's got this this assault rifle. And he's like reloads and does it like 8, 9, 10 times. And I'm like, this is post-apocalyptic. Where the fuck are you getting all this ammo from? Run! Like, what are you doing? So that kind of pulled me out of the immersion. It didn't seem... I don't know. I think going story-driven post-apocalyptic zombie thing after The Last of Us, a Sony exclusive, seems almost unwise. Although, like, it could be phenomenal, and I could be completely, like, prejudging it. But as for, like, whether it harbored my excitement, not nearly as much as The Last of Us did. And it isn't that same extreme of games.
I don't know. I feel like as long as the gameplay and the kind of general like feel of the game is unique enough or distant enough from The Last of Us, I will be interested. But if they try to end up like cloning The Last of Us in a sense, then I'd say that's a game I'm going to stay pretty far away from.
Mm-hmm. It's like catching lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that just like leave it. And it's shitty to be like, well, Last of Us did it so well, you can't touch the genre anymore. Because that's obviously ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it could be phenomenal. It seemed too familiar for what it was. But again, first impression, it could blow me away later, so I won't harp on it too much. In terms of a score for the Sony press conference, like 9.5. Like it was just game after game after game after game. I was sitting there just like losing my mind. Like the Batman VR, the Call of Duty, Spider-Man, like everything I saw, I was like, holy, like losing my mind. The only thing that's stopping it from being a 10 is there wasn't like a new announcement that had me going like, holy shit, I need to tell everyone. Like, as a gamer, when God of War comes out, I understand that's a huge fucking deal. It's not a huge deal to me because I haven't really like invested much time into the God of War franchise. But I can be like, holy shit, God of War, and like Call of Duty, like, holy, that's a COD, that looks amazing. But they're already like standing things. Nothing. There was no like, this is this new thing that we're doing completely. Like the only really big new IP was Days Gone, and it didn't blow me away. So 9.5. The thing that's stopping from being a 10 is that like new big thing. But again, it's early. We'll see what's to come for the rest of the year. There's like Gamescom and all that kind of stuff still coming soon.
Absolutely. As Seb said, I didn't actually get to watch that live. School gets in the way sometimes, but
School's for fools.
Yeah, no, stay in school. But everything. My phone was exploding the entire time.
Yeah.
I think I looked down at my phone and had 9 texts from Seb that I hadn't responded to.
Yeah, Gavin's a bad friend.
That's what it is. But
school gets in the way. You were at Morty's
because I had just finished working on an assignment.
School gets in the way. I was drinking beer and eating wings
to celebrate finishing working on a presentation.
Fair enough.
So there needs to be some time to celebrate with your group members after doing a project. Something Seb doesn't appreciate, but that's okay.
Because you ignored my texts.
My hands were covered in wings.
Just smuttered it all over your phone.
Yeah.
So this is ending the first segment of our E3 coverage. The next episode we're going to be discussing the Ubisoft conference, Bethesda conference, some of the Square announcements that were kind of few and far between, and the Nintendo Treehouse. Spoiler alert, I've got a lot to fucking say about that. Wanted to thank you for tuning in and listening. It was a treat, and like we said at the beginning, there'll be a lot more news coming forward regarding our channel and the podcast, which we will have a name by Friday.
Yes, we will.
I promise you. I will give you that. There will be a name by Friday. We've got a long laundry list of names that we haven't yet finalized or know if we like them, any of them.
Yeah, we have a few good ones that are sitting in development. So we just have to green light one, and then we'll be good to go.
So yeah, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe because you can see more and follow on that next E3 episode and find out more information about our new channel when that comes. And thanks for sticking around.
See you guys.
See ya.